Okay guys, it's Thor Sandalwood here. Today I was going to focus on some of the predictions for May 2021. Specifically what we're going to take a look at is the lunar eclipse happening on May 26th of this month. And I was able to do a lot more research on this and study it. And these eclipses are important because usually the eclipses only happen once every 6 months. So they're a very important part of our karma and what kind of karma unfolds in our lives. And most importantly, when you're looking at your own chart, you can take a look at what house the eclipse is taking place in your chart. So the sign is going to be Scorpio. So whatever Scorpio is, and you can count 7 houses from Scorpio, the opposite sign Taurus, and you'll see that it's going to be affecting that nodal axis within your chart. Today I was going to talk a little bit about the broader economy, and I actually have some dates with predictions of when we could possibly see this big asset bubble pop. And I don't see the asset bubble popping right away. Hello guys, by the way, in the chat. Thank you so much for showing up. I don't see the asset bubble popping like this month, in the month of May. Usually on the day of an eclipse, nothing usually significant happens on the day of an eclipse. But what we're going to look at is where Mars and transiting Sun will be and when they'll square the eclipse degree of where the eclipse happened. And we'll see that it will happen in September and October, when possibly we might see this big bubble pop. And let me show you guys a little bit of the presentation I have. May 26, 2021, blood moon eclipse. Kind of looks scary. Not that scary, but... And guys, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. Obviously, it's not meant to replace advice from a qualified financial planner. I use the sidereal zodiac, not the Western tropical zodiac in my predictions. Predictions are Thor Sandalwood's interpretation of astrological data, and video is for entertainment purposes only. And we're going to be talking about we're not going to be talking about cryptocurrencies or any specific asset class today, but we're going to be talking about when we could possibly start seeing problems economically. Some people are saying we're going to see some sort of hyperinflation event in the future. But then I watched this YouTuber named Uneducated Economist, and he's actually very educated. But he was talking about that things are more going to be deflationary in the future. So if it's deflationary, we could see prices actually going down on everything with all the assets and so forth. I'm going to go back to the slide real quick, guys. If this is your first time watching my videos, please like and subscribe, guys, because this helps my channel to grow. And it helps my channel to grow. And, my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I can't do it without you guys. So you guys help me so much. Also, guys, if you're interested in your own personal reading, check out my website, thorsandalwood.com. Again, thorsandalwood.com. Maybe I should make that a jingle, huh? That'd be kind of funny. So that's my new website, and you can book a reading on the website. And let me go back to the presentation really fast here. Okay, guys, so it was kind of like I was talking a little bit in the beginning was we're entering eclipse season, and every 6 months there are eclipses. And this is important because they represent when light is blocked from the heavens. Astrology is the science of light, more powerful than the regular moon cycles. And so typically what I've seen with these eclipses is they're more powerful than, like, in a lot of astrologer channels, maybe even mine, maybe I'll even do videos, you'll see a video for a new moon or a full moon. And typically, from what I've experienced and, doing this over years, the full moon and the new moon, they kind of have like a minimal impact. They can have like somewhat of an impact. But I really see that the eclipses are the ones that have the more extreme levels of impact. on your karma, what unfolds. Let's take a look at the, I think I lost my presentation here. There we go. Take a look at this again, guys. Let me switch screens here. And there's going to be different types of eclipses when we're talking about eclipses. So there's the north node, which is Rahu, and you guys are familiar with that. There's a south node eclipse, which is Ketu. And then there's whether it's a solar eclipse, and you know the solar eclipse is when the sun gets blocked out because the moon is in front of it. And then there's a lunar eclipse where the Earth's shadow goes across the moon and it gives it that blood look. That's a lunar eclipse. And the eclipse that we're having on May 26, 2021 is going to be a lunar south node eclipse, Ketu. Now, usually in Vedic astrology, we don't talk about south node, north node. We talk about Rahu or Ketu. But you know, I'm familiar with Western astrology, and it's a very easy concept to understand when you just say north node, because that's the head of the dragon, which is Rahu, and south node, you know, is the tail, which is Ketu. So let's take a look at next slide here. Eclipses and major karma. Eclipse degrees become major trigger points for karma to unfold. We must watch 16 degrees of Scorpio because this is the degree where this eclipse is happening. Celestial energy will be leaving south node from the sign of Scorpio. The energy is also drawn from the sign of Taurus. So let's take I'm gonna have like a little graphic for you guys to show you, but when it's a south node eclipse, that's when energy is leaving that sign. So let me get you that chart really fast, guys. And here's my new chart. It kind of looks like Western astrology a little bit, but it's more just for I needed kind of a blank graphic so I could show you guys what's going on. But the eclipse is going to be happening. Let's see. It's going to be this is Taurus right here. So we got Aries right here. Oops. Let me get the brushes here. We got the houses right here. I guess not. Let me click that. Oh, there we go, guys. So here's the houses: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 right there. It looks like a clock, doesn't it? So sorry for that. I had to put the brush on, so there was a little bit of a stall. But anyways, that's going to be the natural zodiac. So if we go back, the first house there is going to be the sign of Aries. And then, you know, second house is going to be Taurus. And so what we're looking at when we're looking at the eclipse that's happening is it's going to be here in the sign of Scorpio that the eclipse is happening in. Or, sorry guys, that's not actually right. Let me clean that up. It's going to be in the sign of Scorpio, which is right here. And it's going to affect the second house over here of Taurus. And so it's going to affect both nodes of the chart. And so whether or not you guys have personal planets in those two houses, it will affect what's happening. So let's take a look at this again. And so the eclipse is going to be happening here in the sign of Scorpio. And so this means that with the south node being there, it's going to be energy that's leaving this sign. And let's go, this is going to be your nodal axis right here. So energy is actually going to be leaving this sign, and energy is going to be drawn in to this sign, which is Taurus. So I'm hoping the graphic makes sense to you guys. So what I see actually with the eclipse, I'm thinking that with this eclipse that we actually might see prices of this asset bubble actually increase this month. So even though, you know, the eclipse is happening, May 26th, I'm thinking that with this incoming energy coming in sign of Taurus, and the sign of Taurus represents the second house of the natural zodiac, guys. The second house has to do with savings, treasuries, holdings. It has to do with the price of assets. And we notice as Rahu's been transiting there that the prices of everything have been growing and growing. So I think we're going to see asset prices increase at the beginning of this eclipse. And we're going to switch over to this other graphic that I have, guys. And so basically, what does this have to do with the market? Well, eclipses happen on a nodal axis. Taurus and Scorpio will be affected by the eclipse. Taurus is the natural second house of the zodiac and represents a natural storehouse of value. The energy will be leaving Taurus on the nodal axis. Well, actually, it's entering Taurus and it's leaving Scorpio on the nodal axis. So guys, basically what I've done is I've done the calculations to find out, because with these eclipses, 16 degrees of Scorpio is going to be, that's going to be like active for about 6 months after the eclipse. Those eclipse degrees remain active. And so what you want to look for is Mars or the Sun squaring one of those, that node right there. So it would be like the signs of Leo, and Leo is actually where this is going to happen. So guys, you can write this in your calendar, the trigger dates of when I think that there might be a big correction happening with the asset bubble, where this Scorpio energy is going to be really, this nodal axis is going to be really triggered when the planets square. The first one is going to be Mars enters 16 degrees of Leo, squaring the eclipse degree. So that could be a trigger point that we see with this. And then the second date is going to be September 9th, 2021, when the Sun enters 16 degrees of Leo, squaring the eclipse degree in Scorpio. So those dates, we're trying to come up with this data when I kind of see this asset bubble retracting. And so, yeah, I don't know if I see it. I see the beginning, I see the spiritual beginning of this happening with Saturn going retrograde later this month. And then next month in June, we're going to have Jupiter going retrograde. I think that's going to create that there's going to start becoming more and more chaos kind of in society a little bit. And then, of course, when the Sun, a few months after, when Mars enters Leo, it's going to square the eclipse degree. And then later on, if that doesn't do anything, Sun's going to enter the Leo at 16 degrees and square. So that's when we're looking at eclipses. We look at when the eclipse degree is, when Mars is going to cross the eclipse degree, or one of these planets, usually a fiery planet like Mars or the Sun, are going to cross the eclipse degree and cause some issues. So this is what I see with the eclipses, guys. And so those dates, write them down in your calendars as a date when I think we're going to start seeing these asset bubbles start to retract. And this one was going to be a short presentation today, guys. If you guys have any questions about the eclipse, please ask them in the chat. But that's all I had to say about the eclipse. We're focusing in on it. Like I said in my previous video, it happens in Anuradha Nakshatra, which is the damage control nakshatra. So we're kind of wondering, what's going to be going on that's going to need damage control. One of the things I heard about in the news, and this could cause some chaos, is apparently the lawyers for Derek Chauvin, they're going to appeal the case based on one of the jurors went to some sort of protest. And, when I saw it, he possibly might win the appeal. And, think of if that ends up getting overturned and there's a new trial for Derek Chauvin, this could set off a whole new chain of events. And that's what I'm worried about, especially with this eclipse happening at the end of May, that with that kind of stuff. And Scorpio is the 8th house of the natural zodiac. So that can be sudden upheavals. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Do you see crypto correction next couple of weeks? Okay, so next couple of weeks, I see crypto still being good. I actually see it going up. I think the Ethereum, you know, like I keep getting these notices on my phone about Ethereum price keeps going up. I think this month, I think crypto prices are going to keep going up. I don't think the eclipse is going to actually, I think the eclipse actually around the time of the eclipse, the price might actually go up with the energy coming into Taurus. I think the price might go up. And I think that, you know, with these dates right here, again, with August 15, 2021, September 9, 2021, and then we know around that time Rahu's entering Kritika, I think that's going to be the danger zone of when we see the prices retract. Going to probably have a retrial. Do you feel that is what it is? It could be, like, so the whole Derek Chauvin thing, that could trigger, I mean, Saturn's going retrograde this month. This could, and, you know, Saturn going retrograde kind of represents this, like, order is starting to, you know, Saturn is a planet of order and structure. So he's the planet of government, of institutions, of banks. And so when Saturn's going retrograde, he's not working at full power. So I'm thinking there's some sort of disorder happening, you know, the second half of this month, May. I forgot the exact day that Saturn goes retrograde. I have it in my last May 2021 video. But yeah, this is going to be crazy. Last 3 months messed with Bitcoin chart. Oh, sure. Last three moons mess with the Bitcoin chart. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Well, possibly, yeah, the Bitcoin. Yeah, so we might see with the eclipse on the day of the eclipse, May 26, we might see some volatility. That's what I'm thinking around that time. There could be something that happens around that time. But I also see that if there is some volatility and some instability, people might be pouring more money into cryptos because they're looking for assets, safe assets to place their money into, and Bitcoin's been proving to be a safe asset. So with Taurus, I see Taurus more as like actual physical assets increasing. We know that those physical assets have been increasing in price as well as the cryptocurrencies. Saturn retrograde on May 24th. Yes, Saturn retrograde on May 24th. I just forgot the date. Didn't have it on me with the presentation in front of me. So, yeah, guys have to forgive me. But isn't that interesting, though, that we got May, we got Saturn going retrograde on the 24th. And then on the 26th, we have this eclipse in Scorpio. Excellent assessment would also correspond to when Floyd died. So kind of like a fake, like a solar return of the event. Yeah. And you know, this stuff is all like, there's so many synchronicities with all this stuff. And it's like, I thought that this thing with Derek Chauvin and the George Floyd thing, I thought, okay, you know, that they found him guilty. Now it's going to go over. But then when I saw the news today or yesterday that the lawyer, they had one of the jurors, he was wearing a shirt where he attended I think a BLM protest. And well, you know, if you're just strictly neutral about it, you're like, well, yeah, that's kind of not a very fair juror for Derek Chauvin. Even if we hate what he did, you know, it's still not like a very fair jury trial for him. And that's what the thing is. It's probably so hard to find a juror that didn't know anything about what was going on with the George Floyd thing. Mercury Retrograde on May 29th. Is there going to be a big world event coming? I think I'm going to have to look into this more, but I think with the instability, I see more of, I keep sensing like, and this is kind of on an intuitive level, astrology level and a intuitive level, is I keep sensing that there's going to be some form of unrest. And that also we need to keep our eyes on this Arizona audit they have going on. We need to keep, maybe nothing will come of it. Maybe nothing will come of it. But I know there's a lot of, there's quite a bit of energy surrounding that whole thing. So I don't know if that could even set something off. if they find something. I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to find anything. But remember, Scorpio, it represents secrets. The 8th house is secrets. And energy is going to be leaving the sign of Scorpio, which means secrets being exposed. There's an energy release from Scorpio. So what secrets are we going to end? What are we going to learn about at the end of this month? What secrets are we going to learn about that possibly might cause some unrest? Bitcoin loves Mercury retrograde. This could be crazy. Yeah. So I think need to see if Trump's chart is activated by the eclipse. Actually, you know, what's interesting is Trump's a Leo ascendant. So Trump, his 10th house of Taurus and his 4th house of Homeland would be activated with this eclipse. 10th house. Maybe with this eclipse season, we'll start hearing more about Trump again because of the nodal axis is his 10th house of public visibility. We might hear more about Trump and what Trump's up to. So maybe something will come up with Trump. I think he's thinking about starting a new social media network. So that might be kind of crazy to see Trump start a new social media network. Also, there's stories about Trump right now that his Facebook ban might get overturned. So I don't know if his Facebook ban gets overturned, if his Twitter ban will get overturned as well. It looks like there's some sort of movement happening with the social medias in Trump. They might have to let him back in. Let me see if there's any more questions from you guys. Bitcoin loves Mercury retrograde. You know, DK, I haven't seen how Mercury retrograde affects Bitcoin. I haven't studied that, but I'd love to study that. He put out a statement today. What did it say? What was the statement that Trump put out today? I know he was putting out statements that he said that, what did he call it? The big lie? The election. He's still never conceding this thing. He is not going away. So who knows if this is what kind of starts a lot of the, you know, the mood in the country is so polarized now. This whole thing could set something off. Wow. Was that what he said? Was that the statement he released about the big lie, about what he said about what happened with the election? I know he's got a lot of people triggered. We have the Arizona audit. Then we have the potential of problems with this Derek Chauvin trial. Because, you know, the judges, they might overturn this thing. He might get a retrial if they find out the juror was totally biased. Mars is in Cancer. Yeah, Mars in Cancer. Isn't Mars... Mars is in Cancer. Is Mars... I thought Mars was in... currently, Mars is in Gemini. Actually, Mars is in Gemini right now, DK. How will that affect us? I am speaking on Western Astro. I apologize. I'm still learning. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, with the whole... I really do respect Western astrology, by the way. It's just like my teacher who introduced me to astrology, you know, he was really into Vedic astrology, and that's how I got into it. And then I found out the dashas and the mahadashas, like, were totally lining up with my life, and that's how I got into it. They should retrial. Affect the United States. How will... Well, you know, I'll have to look at the United States chart, but if I remember right, there's a lot of planets. Was it Scorpio or was it Gemini? There's like 4 or 5 planets in the U.S. birth chart. I don't know if it's you learned the right way. Thank you, DK. Yeah, you know, with the when I was doing Western astrology, my teacher at least told me, he said Western astrology he felt like was more of a psychological astrology, and the Vedic astrology was more of the like your physical reality construct, like the rubber meets the road kind of thing. So anyways, Gemini in the Vedic. Yeah, Gemini. Well, guys, I think that's all I got for my eclipse video. But yeah, I mean, with this eclipse happening, Saturn retrograde, I think this summer is going to be a very hot summer, you know. And also, we have still, like, we're not really over this pandemic yet. Vedic astrology is way more accurate timing. Yeah, I think Vedic astrology, I've always, like, I just measure it with my own life through anecdotal experience, you know. Like, I just say, like, um, I say, you know, take a look at Vedic astrology. Like, look at the dashas in your life, and if they line up with major events in your life, then you know, hey, this thing is something legit. Vedic is by the moon. The moon moves fastest. Oh, yep. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day for now. So thank you guys so much. I saw there was a good turnout today in the chat, and many blessings to you guys. And I wish you guys many blessings. Tomorrow I'll do another video at around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I haven't come up with a topic. But if you guys have topic or a chart reading you want me to do, just comment down below or let me know when I can do it. Many blessings to you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Thank you guys so much.